Well, hello, I'm Cameron Lowe, the County Extension Director here in Currituck County, and today we wanted to make sure that we got you some important and timely tips to help you avoid any holiday food safety mishaps. We do not want any horror stories. So to help us do that, we have our resident food safety expert and foods guru, Ms. Olivia Patchell, our Family and Consumer Sciences Extension Agent.
So, Thanksgiving, you're going to cook a lot of food, typically mass quantities, and it's going to take you some time. And so most commercially available birds, whether they be turkey or chicken, are going to contain probably, most likely, a little bit of Campylobacter and Listeria already on them.
Perfectly normal.
Perfectly normal.
Okay.
That's just something that a lot of birds walk around with.
Sure.
And of course it's not hurting them, but we can grow those spores to something that will make us sick with all kinds of bad symptoms.
Yeah, we don't want that, and we're not going to talk about that.
No, we do not want that for Thanksgiving. So what we're going to do is see how we can handle it safely. So we did create this really funny video with myself and Miss Sheila, and let's just get started from the thawing process.
All right, so we will roll the footage. So starting with thawing, I thaw my bird in the refrigerator. That's a pretty good idea, right?
It's definitely a good idea.
Okay.
However, you'll see that Miss Sheila thinks we should do a little bit more. So even though that chicken is packaged, it can still leak its juices. Ooh. So we want to put it in a casserole dish or on a platter or something. And then for a double safety measure, we want to put it on the lowest shelf in our refrigerator so it doesn't seep down onto our produce.
Gross, because cleaning the goo off of those shelves and washing your produce and stuff like that, not a process we want to go through.
No.
Yeah, okay.
And really, to get the bacteria off of your produce, you would have to bleach it, and we don't recommend bleaching your food.
No, that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
That seems like a bad idea.
So let's keep that from getting contaminated. And then the second thing that you have to remember is if you're thawing that thing in the refrigerator, it can take several days.
So, wait, say that one more time?
It can take several days depending on how big of turkey you got.
So it's like I can't wake up Thanksgiving morning and pull my turkey out of the freezer and thaw. That's not going to work.
No, most people will probably start the weekend prior, that Saturday or Sunday prior to Thanksgiving, thawing their turkey.
All right, so we really got to have a plan and think ahead. That makes sense. So what if I don't have, like, days to thaw said turkey in the refrigerator? I mean, can't I just thaw it on the counter?
Well, we don't recommend thawing it on the counter, and you'll still probably need about a day to thaw that turkey.
So you can't just leave it out like that? Okay.
No, you'll need to put it in an ice water bath or a water bath.
Okay.
And you want to make sure that that water bath is below 40 degrees or above 141 degrees. So that's outside of the danger zone. You'll need to change that water every 30 minutes or so. And put that chicken or turkey in a airtight container because you wouldn't want a soggy bird.
So I'm not actually submerging the bird?
No, don't put it in a bath or anything.
Okay, gotcha. I'm just putting it in a bowl that's seated in a bath, and I'm changing the, okay.
Try not to make Campylobacter soup.
Ooh, that sounds disgusting.
Doesn't it?
I don't want to eat that.
No.
Okay.
And then reminder here, this is not going to take an hour or two.
So how long are we looking?
Most people will take 6 to 8 hours to thaw their bird.
Okay,
in
so
this way.
If I forgot to pull my bird out the weekend before Thanksgiving, I'm going to have to set my alarm for like midnight, get up, pull the bird out. I'm going to have to set alarms so that I change the water on a regular basis. So it would really be to my advantage if I just planned ahead of time.
Yes.
Okay.
And make sure you check your manufacturer's recommendations. Some chickens or turkeys can be thawed in the microwave.
Okay.
But you have to have a microwave big enough to put that in.
That's a big microwave.
That's a pretty big microwave. But there are lots of recommendations on the back of the packaging about what to do.
Safely thawing the bird. Okay. All right, fair. So let's say we've got our bird thawed, so now it's time to clean them up, wash them off, and get started, right?
Well, if you're like me, you can try to put your turkey in the bath water.
Apparently Miss Sheila does not like that idea.
Miss Sheila does not think that's a good idea. Again, we would be creating some Campylobacter soup there.
Ooh, gross.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's studies that have shown that washing your bird actually does more harm than good.
Really?
Yes, so you can send that contamination up to 3 feet away.
Oh, wow. Wow. So we're not going to wash off the bacteria. We're essentially just spreading it.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we've got all the sudsy water here. What are we supposed to do with that?
So go ahead, sanitize or wash and clean your boards and your knives and your hands.
Okay.
And that is a great way to get started in your prepping process.
All right. Make sure everything is all clean and ready to go. That makes sense. I can deal with that. Okay. All right. So what's our next step here? Let's see.
So we have to prep it
Okay.
after we've got it clean. Now, if you do want to clean it up a little bit, wet paper towel, that will work. Just make sure you're utilizing single-use paper towels.
So don't save it to wipe the counter with.
No.
Okay,
And definitely don't use your dish towel.
Ooh, no. That would be bad.
Throw away that bacteria.
All right. So we got to get the guts out of the turkey. Oh, that was easy.
Well, I don't recommend doing it that way. But often they will need to come out, and you might want to clean the insides, and you'll utilize probably some sort of surface to clean the bird on. But don't utilize that surface for then cooking or cutting up your produce, or especially anything that you're going to eat without cooking it.
All right, so I'm going to use a separate cutting board to prepare my vegetables or whatever, but what if I don't have another cutting board?
So if you don't have another cutting board, you definitely don't want to have that cross-contamination issue. So we'll clean that cutting board and then sanitize it. Typically I like to use, I think it's about 8 ounces to a 1/4 teaspoon, a very small amount of bleach for your sanitizing solution.
Okay, fair. And then I'm going to wear old clothes because I don't have good luck with bleach, so I'm going to wear something I don't mind getting.
And you can also wear an apron. That way you'll keep the bacteria on the apron, because there is a chance that you'll splatter. Just like when the guts fell out of my chicken earlier, you could probably see the splatter if you looked hard enough. It will splatter up on you. So you want to keep that away from your family.
Fair. And the apron is a nice retro cool look too, for Thanksgiving. Okay. All right, so I guess at this point we've gotten the guts out of our bird, we've sanitized everything, we've thawed everything out, so we're ready for prep, right?
Right.
All right, so let me roll the footage. Let's see what we got. Okay.
So Sheila's adding this delicious looking butter olive oil rub with some seasonings. Now you can definitely add that or any marinades that you'd like. I do not recommend that you marinate on the counter. Okay. So you want to put it back in the refrigerator.
Got it. That makes sense. Make sure you're staying. Oh, whoa. She's stuffing it.
So she's stuffing it to remind us that anything that you put inside your chicken or turkey is going to be an aromatic, which means that we are not going to eat that. Okay. So if you want to eat whatever is in your turkey, then you're going to want to if you want to add the stuffing, add it after the turkey has been cooked.
And after the stuffing's cooked, right?
And after the stuffing's cooked.
Okay.
Yeah, because you don't want to add raw eggs into you're just adding more bacteria then at that point.
And that's not good.
Yeah. So you can stuff it after you've cooked it, but not before you've cooked it.
Okay.
And you can add inside, you can add the carrots like we did. You can add celery. Some people like to use herbs and spices, even under the skin just for flavor. And that's great. But none of that stuff then can be consumed. Okay,
so you got to throw that away. How about the carrots on the outside? I'm safe to eat those, right?
You're safe to eat those.
Okay.
Any juices or anything on the outside, go ahead and bring that up to a boil. A lot of people like to make gravies or sauces out of that. That's perfectly fine, but we'll bring that up to a boil and then add in our roux or slurry to thicken it up.
Okay, that makes sense. Sounds delicious too. I'm getting kind of hungry. All right, so we've prepped our bird. We put it in the oven to cook. It's probably a good time to start cleaning up our surfaces, right?
Yeah.
Let's, So our surfaces look pretty nasty.
Yeah. So what we've used here is a glow germ product. So you can't take a black light to your kitchen and see your germs.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
But this is all the surfaces that we have touched after touching our poultry product. And this is in the case of any type of meat, really. You can spread that Campylobacter and Listeria. And the thing is, all of these can live outside of a host for several days. So we want to make sure that we clean those surfaces well.
right? And so really, so we just illuminated them, but generally they're invisible. You're not going to see
Right.
them, right? Okay. All right. So we got to clean our surfaces. So I'm assuming we just take our paper towel and we can wet paper towel down our countertop, right?
So I would not recommend that.
Okay.
So you can get your juices off with a paper towel, clean any debris, but you're going to want to use a sanitizing solution like we've used up here in the video. Again, that's the 8 ounces to a quarter teaspoon. Very minimal bleach in this product. Or you can also use products that are already made with bleach in them, but you do want to make sure that you utilize something with bleach in it or a sanitizer.
Got it. And that's on all our surfaces, so making it clean.
Yep.
Okay. And then our sink area as well. I mean, if you're like me, so, the day after Thanksgiving, I want the turkey sandwich, and I'm going to just slap my piece of bread up on my counter and make the turkey sandwich. So if I don't clean all that stuff off, I'm really at risk for one of those holiday horror stories, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame you, though, because who wants to do another dish?
Right, exactly. All right. So our turkey comes out of the oven. I'm assuming it is time to cut it open and make sure it's done, right?
Well, technically you cannot tell if something is done by looking at it.
Okay.
Sometimes underdoneness can look done, and then overdoneness can look underdone. So we really want to utilize a thermometer at this point. So we have lots of different types of thermometers. I wanted to show you a few examples.
Okay.
This one is in most people's kitchen. Here is an oven-safe dial thermometer. This dial thermometer only goes up in increments of 20 degrees.
Oh.
And you're supposed to cook your chicken or turkey, any type of poultry, to 165 degrees. So you can't tell what temperature.
So you just have to guess.
I would prefer that you didn't guess.
Fair.
What I would prefer, and what I like better, is some digital readout thermometers. This particular one, you like that one. The probe is oven safe.
Okay.
The digital readout is plastic, so not oven safe.
So can't cook that part. Okay.
Nope. You put this in your turkey or your chicken, and then this can sit outside on the counter, and then you don't have to even open the oven to know whether your chicken or turkey is done.
So I can constantly monitor the temperature.
Yes.
Okay.
And it has a timer on there too, in case all the timers in your kitchen are used.
Well, isn't that fancy? And they might be preparing
Yes.
for Thanksgiving, so that's pretty fancy.
In my case, the timers are always going.
That's
all
right.
of them.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so this is my favorite one and the one I use the most. This is a tip-sensitive digital read thermometer, and it's an instant read. And so whenever you're looking for a thermometer, you want to try to get an instant read because you don't have enough time to hold your hand up to the turkey or chicken long enough to get a reading. This actually, you can extend this one, and pretty much all of them that have the cases on them you can extend. But you want to make sure you get to 165, and often on these thermometers it'll tell you what temperature you need to get to.
Oh, very good, very good. And this one you can check the temperature in multiple areas of the bird too, so
yeah,
that's probably preferable, right?
Right. So you want to make sure that you check it in several places because white meat and dark meat are going to have a different temperature. And then you want to make sure that you don't hit the bone because that's going to give you a bad temperature read, or go down into the cavity of the bird because that is open. Right. Or may contain product, depending on what you're doing. But you don't want to get that temperature. You want to get the temperature of the meat.
Okay. All right. Fair. So we have finished cooking our bird. We've enjoyed our Thanksgiving meal. And certainly we're going to have leftovers. So we're storing our leftovers here. Tell me what's going on.
So Sheila has put these in smaller portions in individual containers. So we have that tiny little chicken. However, we put it in 3 different containers. That helps it kind of slow down the cooling process. Okay. I mean, speed up the cooling process.
Gotcha. So speeding up the cooling process because we're spreading it out among multiple. Why do I care?
So if you leave something in the danger zone, so I said it earlier, that 141 degrees and 40 degrees for more than 4 hours, we are really growing those bacteria spores to something that's going to make us sick. So we want to make sure that we spread out the meat. Some people even use Ziploc bags and then spread it out, lay it flat, and that's going to speed up the temperature. You definitely don't want to let it cool too long on the counter, but you don't want to heat up your, if you pulled it right out of the oven, you don't want to heat up your refrigerator.
Sure.
So I understand that. You can leave it on the counter for up to 2 hours. I recommend just 1 and then put the lid on it and put it away.
Gotcha. So none of that, like eat the turkey at lunch, leave it on the counter, eat it again for supper.
No.
Okay.
Because that's, unless you're eating lunch and supper real close
Within
together.
a 2 hour window. Yeah. Can't imagine, because you got to have time for the nap. So,
Yes, so that doesn't leave you much time.
No, so we definitely have to put that stuff away.
Yes.
All right. Anything else we need to know, Olivia?
So your leftovers. A lot of times we keep eating that Thanksgiving meal, and that's completely fine, but we need to do it within 4 days. So send all your guests home with a little bit of turkey.
Yes.
So that you don't have to eat it all by yourself. Listeria can grow in the refrigerator for up to 4 days before it starts to get you sick. You can freeze it if you want to.
Good. Okay.
You can freeze it for up to 6 months, probably for quality, but it's definitely safer in the freezer than it is in the refrigerator.
Gotcha. Hopefully you've got enough guests around your Thanksgiving table that you won't have leftovers that long, but good stuff. Good information, Olivia. Thank you so much for sharing all those tips. What if people have more questions? How can they get a hold of you?
Sure. So if you have questions, you can shoot me an email. My email address is olivia_patchell@ncsu.edu. You can also find that on our website. And you can give us a call here at the Extension office. The number is 252-232-2261. But we're not here on Thursday.
No.
You can call the Butterball hotline on Thursday.
But you should have planned ahead according to your instructions. Yes. Very good, very good. Well, I feel good about being able to have a safe, horror story free holiday, and I hope you do too. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.